The internet changed how we work. AI is changing what work gets done. A bank cut loan processing from days to hours. A student built an AI scheduler, improving on-time delivery from under 70% to over 90%. Most teams know AI matters, but aren't sure where to start. InAI is Indiana's statewide AI adoption effort, built with industry, academia, and community partners, helping you move from understanding to action. Visit InAIReady.com.
Relentless rain and punishing winds, adding up to more than $1 billion weather catastrophe in Indiana. Governor Mike Braun in studio to explain the path forward. Plus, 2 courses with very different paces. What's on the line for IndyCar's Freedom 250 at LIV Golf in Westfield. And we hear from Colts GM Chris Ballard on something close to his heart off the field. And flying high in Peru, the economic impact of the Grissom Air Show. It's all next on Inside Indiana Business.
From Indiana's business news leader, this is IBJ Media's Inside Indiana Business with Gary Dick. Presented by Elevate Ventures, Indiana University, LIUNA, and the Indiana Association
Our hearts
of
go out to those people who have been affected by the flooding and the infrastructure loss. But now we're moving forward with things that we can control. That's the assessment, recovery, reconstruction.
Well, for many Indiana counties, it continues to be a story of recovery and rebuilding. Historic flooding, high winds leaving a trail of heartbreak and destruction across the state, and at least 7 people have died statewide from the severe storms and flooding that began August 11. Hamilton County, one of the hardest hit. Hazeldale Bridge, a total loss with estimates it could take maybe a couple of years to rebuild. And across the state, widespread damages to homes, businesses, farms, and infrastructure. For thousands of Hoosiers, the recovery could take months or even years, with early estimates putting the total damage in the billions of dollars. Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick. Indiana recovering from more than just flooding. In northwest Indiana, tens of thousands remain without power after high winds tore through the region August 11. NIPSCO says full restoration in Gary may not happen until early in the week ahead. But beyond the immediate devastation, there are questions about disaster assistance, the impact on the economy, and what comes next. And for the very latest on all of that, I'm pleased to be joined in studio now by Indiana Governor Mike Braun. And Governor, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
When you look at what's happening and the widespread damage, what's the biggest challenge right now facing?
So the biggest challenge is when we watched this coming into our state a week ago on Tuesday, we could see it coming. It's impacted over half our counties, probably 7 or 8 significantly where it came in, and then up to 10 to 15 counties where all the rain was dumped. So derecho, hurricane, straight line winds, 300,000 people without power. That's been since Tuesday. Now we're down to about 65,000, and I think NIPSCO needs to pick up the pace because we've given them National Guard help, all of our agencies. They need to call on maybe other utilities. That's a long time in the middle of summer. Yeah. So the easy part would have been the easy reconnects where there weren't trees all over the place, where a lot of your main lines weren't hit that hard, where homes weren't. I was up there on Wednesday, and it looked like a hurricane went through, big trees poking holes into roofs. That is what's lasted the longest in terms of getting back, in terms of reconnected. The damage in terms of people being displaced from their homes has come from the flooding. Yeah. And until it receded, I was in Cambridge City on Thursday. I'm going up to Noblesville and Carmel here after this. That is going to be something where then the feds will get involved. It's a reconnect issue in the Northwest. Need to pick up the pace. Here, we're getting all the information, and if it crosses a threshold, then there may be resources coming in to help entity by entity, house by house.
Okay, we'll look at the Hazeldale Bridge there, substantial damage. Obviously, that will need to be rebuilt. As you look at federal assistance, some came in early. Now the next chapter is waiting on perhaps more to replenish the state disaster fund.
So last Saturday, I was speaking to the president about getting that first tranche in, and that was quick, and that's to help replenish depleted state resources. The next phase would be on something like you saw in North Carolina, Katrina, Texas, at Camp Mystic. That is where, if there's enough damage, then FEMA kicks in with additional services and funds, and you're going to have issues where most of these homes impacted did not have flood insurance. And that gets to be something that you need federal help, because if you had flood insurance, you'll be covered. Most homeowner policies don't have flood insurance because this is a once in 100-year occurrence.
Final question. If you had one thing to say to businesses, homeowners out there right now, as they face these challenges, what would it be?
From day one, every state resource was mobilized. When I got up to Hammond to see the damage there, I called the National Guard into play. National Guard was able to stem the issue up in Carmel with that sewage pipe. So all hands are on deck. The immediate thing we need to do quicker is get power restored in the Northwest, and then I'll be working as soon as we get the information. The earliest we could get it was by the end of this week to the feds so they can look at this major declaration that we'll look at if we can get it.
Indiana Governor Mike Braun, thanks for joining us. Lots going on. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure to do so.
All right. Well, Indiana's $35 billion agriculture industry also impacted by severe weather, especially corn farmers who are dealing with crops knocked down to the ground by high winds. Torrential rains and severe weather put a damper on many major events as well across the state, including the State Fair in Indianapolis. This is the final weekend for the 168th Indiana State Fair, which drew nearly 850,000 people last year. Might be a different attendance number this year, as severe weather forced the fair to completely shut down for one day and forced fair officials to temporarily shut down the gates 2 other days. The Indiana State Fair typically generates about $65 million into the regional economy during its 2-week run. Well, coming up next, IndyCar revs it up on the streets of the nation's capital. And we hit the links in Westfield, where LIV Golf, the season ender, is providing a spotlight for that city. Southern Indiana is essential to elevating Indiana's future. Explore how IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the state of Indiana are bringing a bold vision for regional growth at Innovate Southern Indiana, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. Join Governor Mike Braun and business and community leaders for a candid discussion on growth, workforce development, and innovation. We'll be at the Vista at Origin Park Thursday, September 3rd. RSVP now at ibj.com/innovate.
Today, you either innovate or evaporate. We are accelerating the pursuit of progress. From the foods we eat to the heights we soar, because this is Indiana, the innovation capital of the world. We rally visionaries across industries, investing connections as much as capital, and fuel our founders from dorm room to boardroom. Fuel your innovation with Elevate Ventures.
Challenges are real.
Type 2 diabetes rising
Small
faster
businesses
among
need help. Alzheimer's cases rising as population
Solutions.
They said it'll never happen.
It's too hard. Nothing will change.
Can't compete.
You'll never solve it.
And we said, watch us.
Testing the boundaries of driver and machine, it is the next generation of IndyCar innovation in racing. The redesigned car is known as the IR28. It's lighter, faster, and built to break speed records. Well, you won't see that new design on the track until 2028. What you will see this weekend may be the most unique stage in the history of American auto racing. This weekend, IndyCar is taking to the streets of Washington, D.C. for the Freedom 250 Grand Prix. 147 laps, 250 miles, zooming past some of the nation's most recognizable landmarks on a 1.7-mile temporary circuit. It is a one-time celebration, IndyCar CEO Mark Miles says, to the nation's 250th birthday. It may be the most unique stage in the history of American auto racing. This weekend, IndyCars will take to the streets of Washington, D.C. for the Freedom 250 Grand Prix. 147 laps, 250 miles, zooming past some of the nation's most recognizable landmarks on a 1.7-mile temporary circuit. A one-time celebration, IndyCar CEO Mark Miles says, to the nation's 250th birthday.
It's just this spectacular real estate, really, between the Capitol building, up Pennsylvania Avenue, down through the mall, Independence Avenue, back up through the mall. It doesn't get more, the real estate doesn't get more iconic than that. Yeah. So it's really, really exciting for us.
But there is also a business side to the race. The series has said it is already above $500 million in ad value equivalency surrounding the race. And this weekend, every television shot, every camera angle, and every social media post puts IndyCar in front of an audience that may not normally watch the series.
You're not going to see Back Home Again in Indiana, but you're going to see sensational stuff. I mean, I'm not going to spoil the substance, but the flyover stuff, crazy, just crazy. And Fox has pulled out all the stops. They've got new cameras I'd never heard of before that are developed for this purpose, and it is going to be fantastic.
Organizers expect close to 300,000 people over the two-day event to experience IndyCar racing around the National Mall. All eyes on D.C. to be sure. Shifting gears now to a course with a bit slower pace, but still packing a powerful punch for the central Indiana economy. LIV golfers teeing off at the club at Chatham Hills in Westfield this weekend for the tour's season finale. Now, last year, the tournament drew more than 60,000 visitors, generated more than $26 million into the regional economy. I caught up with Mayor Scott Willis this week, who said sports is very much a key piece of the puzzle driving growth in Westfield.
3, 2, 1.
A library expansion, a small sign of a much larger transformation that continues to unfold in Westfield. This once sleepy farm community is digging into development, leaning into explosive growth, and investing in amenities designed to make Westfield a destination. For Mayor Scott Willis, that includes something the city has never had, a visible, viable, vibrant downtown.
This year alone, about $500 million of new projects are going to go vertical. Behind us is the first piece to that. You're seeing Park Street. It's all tore up right now. We're going to be doing a streetscape project there. Going on behind it is another project called Park at Poplar. It's going to have both standalone office space. It's going to have mixed-use development. It's going to have a standalone restaurant. That's the next thing that's breaking ground or actually moving dirt right now. And then behind that is another project with CRG, another mixed use with another medical office building. So when all that comes online in the next 2 or 3 years, it's going to totally transform what you're seeing downtown.
This weekend's LIV Golf event at Westfield's Chatham Hills will also showcase the city's focus on sports as an economic driver. This fall, work will begin on an ambitious mixed-use sports campus at Westfield's Grand Park, envisioned as a second downtown of sorts for the city.
I think we've proven that Westfield can host major events. And with Grand Park and some of the other things that we're bringing in there with the NFL now and their flag football championships, we've got USA Archery with their Olympic qualifications. I think we're just showing time and time again that Westfield is a place you can have a big event and have a great experience doing it.
And so clearly sports and sports tourism could be really keys to future development here.
It is, and we're trying to expand. I mean, inside that new district that we're getting ready to start building actually this fall, we want to bring anything and everything related to sports into Grand Park. So certainly the events, that's our backbone there at Grand Park, but also businesses. Anything that supports the world of sports can have a home at Grand Park, and that's the economy that we're trying to build around the campus.
For Westfield, it all adds up to change that goes beyond bricks and mortar.
We've always been known as a bedroom community, but it's a very specific demographic that's been attracted to Westfield. It's the older demographic with kids in middle school or high school, and then they age in place here. What we're really missing is that younger workforce, that younger demographic, and having a downtown, having a walkable community is what that generation's looking for. And once we build this out, you're going to see Westfield become a more balanced place, which will be more attractive to business.
Big spotlight on change and growth in Westfield, to be sure. Also in Westfield, the Indianapolis Colts close to wrapping up their final training camp at Grand Park. The team moving its preseason activities to the Colts complex next year. A training camp tradition that is not likely to change, though, the Colts' annual Books for Youth backpack event for foster kids. It's something near and dear to Colts GM Chris Ballard's heart. He and wife Kristin fostered and adopted 2 girls.
And at the end of the day, ended up adopting 2 of our daughters who, I couldn't imagine life without them. I don't quite know how to explain it other than we are, like, they've given us way more than we've given them.
IBJ Media's Dave Calabro has much more with Colts GM Chris Ballard on his Playmakers podcast, and you can check it out wherever you get your podcasts. Well, coming up next, Anderson lands one of horse racing's most prestigious events. We look at what's behind the Hambletonian Stakes, move from the Meadowlands to Madison County.
The real estate market is always changing. Working with a realtor means staying a step ahead. Here's a housing update from your Indiana Realtors.
Listings dipped by 2% compared to last May, as leading indicators were dampened by rates over 6.5% and climbing economic and global risk. Pendings still ended the month up 4% year over year. Sales continued to build pace, ending at 5% up year over year. We averaged almost 16,000 available homes through May. Inventory grew, but the growth rate fell from 14% to 12%. Prices are up 5% year over year, a little faster price growth than we've seen in recent months. Half of listings are under contract in 2 weeks, but this is climbing. New contracts are trending down over recent weeks, which bodes poorly for June sales totals. 42% of listings have dropped their price, and this rate is climbing.
We build Indiana. The Laborers International Union of North America builds and maintains roads, bridges, and other essential infrastructure that make us the crossroads of America. So thanks to LIUNA members' work, Hoosiers have a better quality of life, like access to utilities, easier routes to jobs, schools, or medical care. We build Indiana for good jobs and stronger communities. The Laborers International Union of North America. We are LIUNA.
Richards, get in the game. We're getting pickled here. And they're crushing our loan business, too.
But this Lake City Bank team seems nice. They offer small business loans from your phone.
We have that, too.
You can even speak to a real live banker.
You guys good? No one needs to talk to a person anymore.
I like people.
Nice game. Come by the branch anytime.
They have branches?
Friendly business loans. Apply online with SwiftLend or visit real human bankers at your local branch.
Well, IU Health's new Fort Wayne hospital continues to take shape and is now looking for lots of nurses to fill out its roster. The $421 million facility is yet another sign of growth in a city that's seen record economic development. Business of Health reporter Kylie Valletta has more.
Already the state's second largest city, Fort Wayne is one of the fastest growing metros in the Midwest. As investment and population grows, so does the demand for health care. IU Health now building its first hospital in the city.
We're the state's second largest employer, the state's largest health system, and Fort Wayne's been overdue to have this direct connection to IU Health.
While the 140-bed hospital won't be the largest in Fort Wayne, Parkview Regional Medical Center and Lutheran Hospital more than double that number, IU Health will add significant competition in the market.
We listen to the community, we listen to employers who pay for a lot of the healthcare costs here, and they wanted more access. They wanted a more convenient access, a lower cost of care.
And the now hiring sign is up for the $421 million hospital. Hiring 270 nurses when Indiana already faces a nursing shortage is no small task. Local nursing schools are a critical pipeline, as well as reaching beyond the Hoosier borders.
We have a campus recruitment program that goes out beyond the borders of Indiana to talk to nurses about IU and all the great things about living in Indiana, too. That certainly has been a draw to bring nurses from other states as well.
IU Health says it's also on pace with its commitment that half of the doctors at the hospital be new to Northeast Indiana.
Well, it's exciting for me. I'll bring a physician here who's never been to Fort Wayne, maybe never lived in Indiana. They get here and realize it's a great place to live, work, provide care. You can live close to work. We don't have really long commutes in Fort Wayne.
IU Health says the project is more than a new hospital. It's the only academic health system in Indiana establishing a foothold in Fort Wayne and making a statement about the region's future.
I'm excited to see it truly transform the healthcare landscape in Northeast Indiana. It's a pretty good feeling. It's tough to beat.
And IU Health says the new hospital will create some 500 jobs, and it's on pace to open in May of next year. Well, turning now to business news making headlines throughout the state of Indiana. The Mill, a co-working space and business accelerator near downtown Bloomington, is marking major renovations, providing more space for local entrepreneurs. Upgrades include 35 more workspaces, new private offices, and collaboration space. The project also includes technology upgrades. The Mill is currently home to around 80 companies.
It's, not just going into an office and staring at a screen, but coming into a space that has a lot of communal opportunities, places to meet and run into folks from different companies with different ideas. It creates that kind of energy and synergy and often the creative collisions that lead to new companies, new products, and lots of collaborations.
The Mill is also launching AMP, a free monthly gathering of investors, founders, and community members focused on all industries. The Mill is part of the Trades District in Bloomington. It is a 12-acre neighborhood in the city's downtown. Well, one of horse racing's biggest events is headed to Anderson. The Hambletonian Stakes will be held at Harrah's Hoosier Park for 3 years, beginning next year, moving from the Meadowlands in New Jersey, where it has been held for the last 46 years. The Hambletonian is the world's largest harness race with a purse of $1 million. Well, coming up next, buckle in for an aviation spectacle in northern Indiana. How the Grissom Air Show is driving big dollars into the Peru area economy. That's when we come back.
We're bringing the power of this to this with a new IBJ Media app. For the first time ever, you'll be able to get the Indiana Lawyer, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indianapolis Business Journal all in one place wherever you go. All across the state of Indiana, IBJ Media provides the news you need to know, and we're doing it now directly to your phone. To be a part of this, you can find it on your favorite app store. Just search IBJ Media.
The challenges are real.
Type 2 diabetes rising. Small businesses need help.
Alzheimer's cases rising as population.
Solutions.
They said it'll never happen.
It's too hard. Nothing will change.
Can't compete.
You'll never solve it.
And we said, watch us.
Today, you either innovate or evaporate. We are accelerating the pursuit of progress. From the foods we eat to the heights we soar, because this is Indiana, the innovation capital of the world. We rally visionaries across industries, investing connections as much as capital, and fuel our founders from dorm room to boardroom. Fuel your innovation with Elevate Ventures.
The real estate market is always changing. Working with a realtor means staying a step ahead. Here's a housing update from your Indiana Realtors.
Listings dipped by 2% compared to last May, as leading indicators were dampened by rates over 6.5% and climbing economic and global risk. Pendings still ended the month up 4% year over year. Sales continued to build pace, ending at 5% up year over year. We averaged almost 16,000 available homes through May. Inventory grew, but the growth rate fell from 14% to 12%. Prices are up 5% year over year, a little faster price growth than we've seen in recent months. Half of listings are under contract in 2 weeks, but this is climbing. New contracts are trending down over recent weeks, which bodes poorly for June sales totals. 42% of listings have dropped their price, and this rate is climbing.
We are changing the name of Bunker Hill, not to pay less tribute to a famous revolutionary battleground, but to pay tribute to a 20th century pioneer in space exploration.
Well, that was 1968. Now, nearly 60 years later, Peru, Indiana, an area there still feeling the effects of Hoosier Gus Grissom's impact on aviation history in America. Grissom began as Bunker Hill Naval Air Station back in 1942, renamed in 1968 after Hoosier astronaut Gus Grissom. So to today, where it serves as an air reserve base, fueling a reported $207 million in economic impact last year for the region and supporting more than 2,400 jobs. And local leaders are preparing for future growth as well.
About 2 miles east of Grissom, we're starting the development with the assistance of Ready Funds for 103 new single-family homes to be built here to accommodate some of the new workforce and growing workforce that we'll have regionally.
Well, now Grissom is preparing to welcome back the Thunderbirds, the Grissom Air Show happening next weekend, and is expected to draw tens of thousands of visitors to the base over the 2-day event. And for more now on what visitors can expect and the economic impact, pleased to be joined by Grissom Air and Space Expo Director, Major Joni Fryer, a resident of Zionsville in Boone County. And Joni, welcome.
Hi, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's talk about the air show. Now, the air show has history at Grissom, but it hasn't been held since 2019. What's new?
That's correct. So we haven't had an air show for about 7 years. And so we're excited. And we filed the paperwork to try to get a premier demo team. We got the U.S. Thunderbirds, and we hit the lottery with them. Yeah. So we said we're bringing it back to the community.
What will folks see? Air shows are always very exciting. What's going to really excite folks? And you're expecting 20, maybe 30,000 people a day up at the facility.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So we're going to have some of the big Air Force jets. The B-52 is going to be there. We have the C-5 Galaxy, the biggest in the United States Air Force. So a lot of warbirds, activities for kids as well. So it's really something for everybody.
Fun for people to see. What does this mean for Grissom, for you and others at the reserve base? Why is it important to have an air show?
So Grissom, we want people to see the base. We want people to see our wonderful airmen and the mission that we do. We have 16 KC-135 Stratotankers, and we're heavily involved in operations around the world. It gets people close to military aircraft and gets them excited about everything that we do in the state of Indiana.
A lot has changed at military bases around the country, including Grissom, but it's still an active air reserve base, right? Still got a lot of activity.
It absolutely is, yes. So on a regular basis, they're flying 3 to 4 missions around the United States a day. They are heavily tasked all the time. We have absolutely wonderful airmen, pilots, maintenance crew, civil engineering, and we even have some Marines and Army on the base as well.
Yeah. Joni Fryer, great to see you. Good luck with the event. It's going to be exciting next weekend at Grissom, the air show. 20 to 30,000 people will be an exciting time. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Inside Indiana Business. As we leave you this week, we're circled back to the beginning of the show, to the historic flooding that has walloped many regions in Indiana. And if you have suffered losses, need insurance help, go to in.gov/IDOI. If you'd like to donate to help Hoosiers get back on their feet, you can go to redcross.org. We'll see you next week. Southern Indiana is essential to elevating Indiana's future. Explore how IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the state of Indiana are bringing a bold vision for regional growth at Innovate Southern Indiana, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. Join Governor Mike Braun and business and community leaders for a candid discussion on growth, workforce development, and innovation. We'll be at the Vista at Origin Park Thursday, September 3rd. RSVP now at ibj.com/innovate.
Richards, get in the game. We're getting pickled here. And they're crushing our loan business, too.
But this Lake City Bank team seems nice. They offer small business loans from your phone.
We have that, too.
You can even speak to a real live banker.
You guys good?
No one needs to talk to a person anymore.
I like people.
Nice game. Come by the branch anytime.
They have branches?
Friendly business loans. Apply online with SwiftLend or visit real human bankers at your local branch.
We build Indiana. The Laborers International Union of North America builds and maintains roads, bridges, and other essential infrastructure that make us the crossroads of America. So thanks to LIUNA members' work, Hoosiers have a better quality of life, like access to utilities, easier routes to jobs, schools, or medical care. We build Indiana for good jobs and stronger communities. The Laborers International Union of North America. We are LIUNA.